Welcome to 2018. This is the first video of the year, and I figured I'd start off by just kind of celebrating the community that we've built over the past 3 or 4 years. Before the new year, all within December, I'd asked you guys to fill out a survey census kind of thing. What I thought for my first video was just to go through some of those responses, and just as a little bit of a preface, the furnace in my apartment broke down about 2 days ago, so it's a little chilly. When people ask me how I'm doing, I usually respond with this.
In a word, cold. It's very cold all around here.
So yeah, a little chilly, a little cold. So I have recently taken off my hat. I've got one heater over there blasting some warm air on me. I've actually tripped a few circuits within my apartment because I was using more than one heater on one circuit. Rookie mistake, but learning from that, and I've recently taken off my hat, so I've got a little bit of hat hair going on. But besides all that, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about some of the results on here. So I'm just going to go through some of the questions. I'll actually move a little bit over to this side because I'm going to put like a screen cap of what I'm talking about, because I use SurveyMonkey and they gave me a really kind of nice graphic there. So I figure if I stand over here, you guys can see the visual there. So the first one I asked is obviously, what is your age? And it was very clear to me off the top that I had made a little bit of an error. With SurveyMonkey, they asked, if you put what is your age, they have a autofill, and I just clicked yes, use the autofill, not realizing that the first part is 18 to 24, and that doesn't capture anybody that's under 18. So apologies. I know that a few individuals had vocalized their concerns about this, so that's an error on my part. I should have just put in an area from 0 to 18 to account for that. So yeah, in the future I'll do that. So the first number we had was like almost 50% of my viewership was from 18 to 24, and that's an inflated number because there's a lot of people within that 0 to 17 range that I know my audience comprises of. The next biggest bracket is obviously the 25 to 34, and then it just kind of peters out from there. Less than 10% make up the 45 to 54. We've got a little bit from 35 to 44, and then I think like less than 5%, 55 to 74, but still, there's a few people in there. One person is watching from 65 to 74, so awesome, that's great. It looks like there's a pretty big bulk of the 45 to 54-year-olds, and I think that captures the original wave of progressive rock. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. I figured the bulk would be within the younger generation. I was actually surprised of how young some of my viewers were, but great, get them while they're young, right? The next question I asked was, what is your gender? 100% male. I'm not too surprised at that. I am a little concerned though. I'm trying to get more of an inclusive environment in here, but knowing that my demographic is generally male, I can voice some of my opinions to help develop some of your own opinions. Like I have a very strong opinion about having more of a female representation within progressive rock. If I let you guys know about that, hopefully we can see a little bit of changes within this very white cis male dominated musical genre, and I think it's one that really needs to change for the betterment of all music. The one that's kind of all over the map is, how did you find out about this? Because that's always one thing I'm really interested in. Like, how did you guys know about me? The biggest one is YouTube suggestions, so thanks YouTube's algorithms for giving me viewers. The next one is searching for other reviews, which I figured would be like the #1 way, which is why I use a lot of tags within my videos. But that makes a lot of sense. People searching for other reviewers. I'm just very similar to a few of the other ones out there. Friend suggestion is very low. I think I've only got like 7% for that one. Found it on a related video is another one that's relatively low. It's at about 8%. I do love that, for each of the questions I put one that's mildly humorous, and the one that I loved was, I don't know, man, one day you were just in my life, and like 16% of people saw that, so that's pretty much how I really wanted it to go. The next is, what do you want to see more of? Yeah, thanks for making that easy. It's pretty much like right across the board, about 40% of everything. And this also helps shape where to put some more effort into, because I know I have a lot of ideas, but I have limited amount of energy and time. So there's a lot of different ideas that I want to follow through with within the new year of some of the videos that I'm going to be doing. So knowing that, where to kind of put my effort into. Real talks, I was actually surprised, is quite low at like under... actually just over 10%. People like the real talks. Still going to do real talks because I feel Like, there are just certain things that I need to get off my chest, and this is a great platform to do it. So I'm going to keep doing them, but I know where to put my energy. Like, I'm going to put a lot more energy into the classic albums, because I think through 2017 I didn't do a whole lot of classic albums. I think I only did like 1 or 2. So it's something that I want to do more of, and kind of linked in with that is the Masterpiece Theater. Masterpiece Theater and Best to Worst were the 2 that were the highest, as you can see there. So I'm going to do a lot more Masterpiece Theater. I'm actually working on 3 right now, just to kind of have in the back of my backlog to kind of bring to you guys. Worst to Best, love the segment. I'm actually recording one right after this video, so you'll be getting a lot more Worst to Best. I already have my list created for a lot of other bands: Genesis, Arion, Opeth, Porcupine Tree, Between the Buried and Me. Like, these guys I already know all the albums from, and I'm really intimate with them, so creating a Worst to Best for them is pretty easy. So expect those throughout the year. And finally, top 10s. Yeah, I think I only did 1 top 10 last year, and it was my top 10 albums of 2016. So yeah, I'll try to do more top 10s, because that is, besides the Worst to the Best and the Masterpiece Theater, the one that's kind of requested for the most. Obviously, you guys have already seen I've retired Fallen from Grace. 2 reasons. The first, that's not the kind of content I really want to have on my channel. It was all in good fun, and I enjoyed the process of doing it, and it was very tongue-in-cheek, but I saw the impact those videos had, and a lot of people didn't get where I was coming from with that, or they got it and they didn't quite care, and so it added to a conversation I didn't want to have. So that's why I've retired it. So let's just move on to the next one. The next question I asked was, do you understand my rating scale? The rating scale for me is one that I was mulling over when I first came up with it, and I figured this is a great time to kind of talk about it, because that is something that's been in my mind of, do people know what I'm talking about when I'm rating the albums the way that I do? And there's a number of reasons why I chose this particular rating scale. Luckily, the 2 highest answers, yeah man, it's original and much more applicable than just a regular alphanumeric scale. And the other one was, ratings are just overrated, I couldn't care less what you rate them. The opinion of the album and the conversation that it adds is really what matters. And so those were the 2 answers that I was really hoping would come across, and I'm so glad that it did, both being like the 2 highest responses. The other ones that came up was it's better than being out of something crazy like 1 to 35. What does that even mean? 6 people chose that one. That's a little bit of a stab at another YouTube creator. I do like that, you know, a conglomeration of 8 people said, dude, I have no idea what these ratings even mean, as well as it all comes down to the rating, and yours is horrible. Give me a rating out of 10 or something. So yeah, that's my rating scale. Let's move on to the next question. This was actually a really interesting one. What out of recent memory was your favorite video I've done? I'm just going to highlight a few of the responses. A lot of it was just the last one that I saw, which, okay, I kind of got that. The Worst from Best came up here a number of times, the Dream Theater one. Yeah, we got a lot of the real talks, which I'm glad, because a lot of people didn't. It's interesting. A lot of people said that they like my real talks, but they didn't want to see more of it. There's a lot of like specific reviews. Again, a lot of the real talks. Yeah, it was good to see that there was quite a number of like specific album reviews, because I do put a lot of time into that. So it was good to kind of see that. I forgot to include the starter packs, so I'm going to do a lot more of those. This one actually in particular, since I started following you with the sole goal in mind to learn more about new bands and new artists, that was one of the main reasons why I started this. I wanted to contribute to the conversation of new bands coming out, and I wanted to showcase lesser known bands, smaller bands, those bands that I love, but the general progressive rock community don't quite know about. So I wanted to add a platform for that. Anyway, let's move on to question 7. This was a fun one. This was a little bit of a fun question. When I first did this questionnaire, I had 20 questions, and you needed to pay more to have 10, so I had to whittle down the fun questions, and I wanted to keep this one, because this one's particularly important to me, which is, are you as depressed as I am to realize that Fido will never release Infernal at this point? A staggering amount, over 60% of people answered with, who the hell is Fido? And this hurts. This really hurts. And this shows that the lack of new material from Fido has really left a lot of people in the dark for his genius, his masterworks. And that's sad, because Fido, in my mind, is one of the most talented and brilliant progressive rock artists of this millennium. He hasn't put out anything, I believe, within this decade. I'll have to go back and look to see when Snow Torch was put out. It was either 2000 and I want to say it's 2010, 2011, which would have put him just into this decade. But still, like, his masterworks came out between like 2000 and 2010. And Doomsday Afternoon and The Great Leap are the first two installments in a trilogy, and Infernal is the finale of the trilogy, and we've been waiting since 2007 for that finale of Infernal. And just where we had come within this journey. Originally he said it was going to be in 2009, and then he put out number 7, which was the leftover from a lot of the jam sessions, and he didn't feel like he was musically able to really play the thoughts that he had within Infernal, so he put out number 7 to really challenge himself to get to that level. And then within the jamming sessions, he had come up with 3 tracks. He came out with Eternal, Infernal, and Snow Torch. And so he still wasn't quite ready to release Infernal, so he released Snow Torch, which was the 3rd of the 3 tracks, as a self-contained album. Brilliant album. I will have to showcase that on Masterpiece Theater because it is a masterpiece. But since then, he hasn't done anything, and he's been pushing back the release date more and more and more. It's a really sad state when you're more likely to see a new Tool album than you are to see a new Fido album. Then I asked for my question 8, where are you from? Country and city, please. And you guys are from all over the place, and I love that. Again, diversity, thumbs up for the win. A lot from the US, few from Canada, my home country, but we have a lot from all over the world. Netherlands, and Norway, and Libya, and Portland. I guess Portland's more of a state, but we got the UK, Germany, Sweden, Romania. This blew me away to know that I'm reaching people from all across the globe. That is fantastic. And then finally I asked, how often do you watch my videos? I say finally, I know that we have one more. I'm going to do a separate video for that because this one's running a little bit long. I asked, how many videos do you watch of mine? The main one, and I'm not surprised, is only those that interest me. I understand that. You know, I myself only watch certain reviewers like Rocked, like The Needle Drop. Those guys I'll watch album reviews of albums that I already know of. I don't really watch them talk about an album that I'm not familiar with. So I'm not surprised to see that almost 50% of the population watch only those videos that they're interested in. I am surprised to see that there's a split, like a 20% split between every single one and maybe once a week. And that's more for those YouTubers that I watch every single video for. Like those that I'm very loyal to. The Maiden of the Eventide, the Vampire Reviews, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. Lindsay Ellis, obviously the Vlog Brothers, Todd in the Shadows, Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman. These guys are the ones that I will watch every single video of, no matter what they're talking about. I'm glad to see that there's a few people out there that do that for me as well, so thank you. That's fantastic. And maybe once a week, those are the ones like, you know, Screen Junkies for me, the Postmodern Jukebox, you know, the Winter Garden. Those ones are the ones that I'll watch like maybe once a week if they put out something new, maybe not. But yeah, to see that there's a healthy split, and luckily there's nobody that had said once a month or I only came here because I love filling out surveys. Again, funny answer, but it's good to see that it's either like only those that interest me, or it's maybe once a week. And if I include more videos that I think interest more people, that'll help raise that. That's all I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover question 10, which is, this is your opportunity to tell me what you want me to know. And I got some amazing answers on that. So I'm going to dedicate a whole nother video specifically for that one. I'm going to put that out at the end of this week. And also, for a Christmas present for myself, earlier this year, I had commissioned an artist to draw out a little bit of a still from my Dungeons & Dragons campaign that I ran all throughout last year. It was like over a year and a half for this campaign that I ran, and it got to the point where I actually started playing as a character as well. So I had developed all these NPCs. I was running the Curse of Strahd campaign, but I tweaked it a little bit to my own little storytelling, and she did just a fantastic job of creating the picture. So I've got that here on my iPad here. I'm going to also put it up on your main screen right now. That is her amazing work. I asked her if it was okay if I kind of shouted her out on my channel, and she said that's okay. Her name is Sarah Dagenhardt, and I really hope I pronounced that correctly, as I'll get into the video tomorrow. I'm really bad with pronunciation of names. I left her contact information below. She does commissions if you want to have your own character done up in a style such as that. She does busts, she does full character sketches, she does color and black and white, and I am just thoroughly impressed, and I have this particular picture framed on my wall because it captured exactly what I had in mind. So thank you so much, Sarah, for doing that. I've left her contact information down below as an email address. Hit her up if that's your kind of thing, because it was for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, you guys blew me away in terms of your responses to the survey. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to have some more reviews coming up within the future. I've got a new worst to best coming up later on this week, and I've got a few classic album reviews that I'm going to be doing. Nothing has really come by my desk in terms of new music, so this will give me a little bit of a chance to slowly wade my way back into the new music scene and talk about some albums that I particularly love that I already am very familiar with. So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys, as always, are definitely the best, and until next time, notes out.